In the previous video, we discussed the different phases of the menstrual cycle. So this information is very helpful just from the standpoint of giving yourself grace when you don't feel totally energized, when you might be extra hungry, when you might want to crawl under the blanket and not speak to anyone. You are a woman and your hormones are to blame for it. So I want to talk about cycle syncing in this video because there is such power in syncing your nutrition and your fitness and your lifestyle in general. You can even sync your work with your cycle, and that is going to allow you to really continue this balance, this healthy balance of hormones. You're never going to have completely balanced because they're ever changing, but to really keep your hormones thriving, to make you feel comfortable as you can. And you can also improve your PMS symptoms. So reduce bloat, reduce the heavy bleeding, reduce acne, reduce intense cravings, improve libido, improve energy and stamina. So the list goes on and on with the benefits of cycle syncing. And the first thing I do want to mention before we dive into how to do this is that if any of these principles, concepts, strategies stress you out, I need you to do yourself a favor and not worry about it, because the things you need to worry about, the most important things I will tell you, and things like this are just additionals that will definitely benefit you. But if it becomes a stressor, it is already a loss because your cortisol levels are elevated because you're stressing out, and that is not what we want here. So hopefully this information is helpful and not hindering, but I do get it. Everyone's different. And if you feel you just have to worry about another thing, don't worry about this, okay? Now, you can also gain from just little tidbits of information and incorporating that. You definitely don't have to hit the nail on the head, execute it with 100% perfection, because again, this is life and that's not going to be the case. And when it comes to your hormones and your cycle, any little bit of change will definitely make an improvement in your health. So rest assured you don't have to hit this 100%, okay? So with anyone starting out new with cycle syncing, I like to think broad. I like to think big, and I do have a full cycle syncing ebook that you will have access to. But in terms of just diving in and slowly easing into it, this is, which kind of is a contradiction, but let's say easing into it, right? You're going to view your cycle pretty much split in half. We have the beginning and we have the end. And the end is our luteal phase, which is the phase that we are not our best selves. We are feeling like we're questioning the entire existence of everything, right? So this is going to be the time where we're already stressed, we're already hungry, we're already annoyed. And so because of being high hormones, we want to be very much catering to our body, and we want to be a little bit more sensitive to all the things. So this is the place, and again, for everyone it starts at a different time, but let's say at about day 16, day 17 through day 28, okay? That's when we are going to really give ourselves grace. We're going to listen to our body. We're not going to be fasting. We're not going to push our body, because remember, when we're fasting, we are raising cortisol, which can be healthy for us being in a good state to receive it well, right? But we're not going to be pushing that fast. Now, if you want to incorporate, a 13-hour fast, that's fine. But if you want to do maybe one day here and there of fasting, 16 hours, that's not going to be detrimental. But I'm talking about every day. And when you wake up in the morning, if you're hungry, you should not fast. You shouldn't push through. This is definitely not the time to push through the pain, push through the hunger, push through the fatigue. It's not. So this is the place where you need to bump up that sleep. You need to make sure you're getting 7 to 8 hours minimum during your luteal phase, if not the entire duration of your cycle. and you need to make sure that you are supplying your body with the nutrients it needs, okay? So you can get into all the nitty-gritty in the ebook, but this is the time where you should be focusing more on hearty root vegetables. So you're going to bump up your carbs slightly, but through the right low glycemic carbohydrates, but you're really still focusing on all the fruits and the veggies and the proteins and the healthy fats. But it is something to where your basal metabolic rate does elevate, it does increase during this luteal phase. So you can burn up to 350 calories additional in a day just by existing during the luteal phase. So that's why you are hungrier. So it's okay to eat more. You just want to make sure that you're eating to really supply your body and, your blood sugar in the best way possible, because during this luteal phase, we are that much more insulin resistant, if you will, and blood sugar sensitive. So although we are supposed to bump up our carbs a little bit, we got to do it in a very balanced manner, because we're way more susceptible to spiking during this time, during the first half of our cycle, during menstruation and follicular and ovulatory. Okay. So it is really much a balancing act, but this luteal phase, you want to make sure you're sleeping more. You're not doing extremely high intensity exercise. You are really listening to your body. If you have the energy, then push it. If you don't, then definitely do not. Take more walks, do more yoga, and then focus on really hitting it hard, the other time of the month when you have that energy. Okay. So making those shifts both with lifestyle, exercise, and nutrition need to happen. And also setting boundaries. It's a big one. It's huge. No one talks about it. You got to do it. You got to say no. You got to just say, hey, I don't feel like doing it. Hey, I don't have the energy to do it. And keep it there. People will respect you for being honest and open. And then those who don't need to be in your life, okay? And then we're looking at the first half of our cycle. That's when you're going to thrive from doing fasting. That's when you're going to thrive from high intensity training, heavier lifts, more high intensity workouts. That's when you're going to thrive from doing that, and more of a ketobiotic approach. So more focus on all the things but the carbs. Not that you have to go keto, but you're really minimizing, those really heavy carbohydrate meals, and you're focusing on all the goodness of the proteins, the healthy fat, and the fiber, okay? But again, it is really a balancing act, because reminder here that although our hormones are very happy with bumping up our carbs slightly during the luteal phase, it's not the best for blood sugar. So it's not the best for our lean muscle mass and our just overall aesthetics that we're trying to achieve. So it is that juggle, and it just is a reminder that us women were put here for reproductive purposes, and that we really should, from just a natural standpoint, have more meat on our bones, have more fat on our bones. And honestly, I feel that that's why. If we want to feel our best selves, it's not necessarily aligned with looking like this and having, a body that you can visually see the muscles and the definition. So again, I ask you, what is most important to you? If you are in this place where you're really struggling with your hormones and you're really having a terrible cycle, both prior to, during, and then the luteal phase is just, terrible, and you're really not thriving and you feel low energy, but you look great, I challenge you to really thinking about finding that good balance. So hopefully this was helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.